Yeah, I had to break up with Tren. You and I talked about it. I tried your protocol. Steve, I thought you were crazy when you said 5 milligrams a day. I'm like, that's not even worth doing. But I pulled it down to 5 milligrams a day, and I still could not sleep, and I was getting the side effects even from that low of a dose.
You know what's weird? I think the older you get, the more responsive you are to Tren. Like when I was 26 or 27, I could run a gram of Tren. No side effects. I could sleep. I wasn't overly aggressive, not more than on 350 milligrams. That was full as a house. Lower back pumps the whole day, shin splints, the whole 9 yards. But the terrible side effects I didn't really have. And now, even at 25 milligrams, I got bronchoconstriction and irritability. And after 6 weeks, it was like, you know what? I got all the recomping effects out of it. It's time to move on. Vigorous podcast with the one and only Big Paul Barnett.
Man?
I remember I got you on like when you had 1,000 subscribers and now you have 25,000. What's
Almost
going
30.
on? Almost 30.
Yeah.
I need to check your I need to keep tabs. What's going
much.
on, man? Good to talk to you again.
I'm just in prep mode right now. I was slacking on the content there for a little bit because prep was catching up with me. And I retired from my day job, so there was a lot going on at one time, but I'm trying to start cranking out the content again.
So now you're a full-time YouTuber like I am.
We'll see how it goes.
It's good, man. I mean, I'm happy that you retired because, I mean, you were working that IT job and then, you know, it's very demanding doing so many different things like juggling the YouTube channel and coaching and contest prep and then having a full, real business alongside of that. It's quite a lot. And you have kids and a dog and the wife. I can't imagine. I need to talk to you at one point how you juggle your time.
I just don't sleep a lot, and I work from the time I get up until I go to bed. 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night, that's the secret. It's not good for bodybuilding, though.
No, I saw that one of your update videos that your resting heart rate one day, you slept like 4 hours, and your resting heart rate went up to like 75 or something.
No, it went up to like 85. That's crazy, man. Went from 70 up to 85 during that day. That's insane.
That's insane. Yeah, that's insane.
I never used to track that crap. I was just like, I feel like crap, whatever. But now I'm pretty meticulous about tracking all that. My blood glucose, blood pressure, everything goes up when you don't sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed the same thing. But when I was running Tren, even 25 milligrams a week, we talked about this privately, I was sleeping like 6 hours a night. And then you check your blood pressure and your heart rate in the morning, and it's like higher than normal. And then you have a good night's sleep with some melatonin or just a long day at the gym and a lot of work, and then you just knock yourself out that way because you're freaking tired. And then everything falls back into normal parameters again. It's such a difference.
Yeah, I had to break up with Tren. You and I talked about it. I tried your protocol. Steve, I thought you were crazy when you said 5 milligrams a day. I'm like, that's not even worth doing. But I pulled it down to 5 milligrams a day, and I still could not sleep, and I was getting the side effects even from that low of a dose.
Yeah. It's strong, man. You know what's weird? I think the older you get, the more responsive you are to Tren. And then the dose can be brought down significantly. Like when I was 26, I could run, or 27, I could run a gram of Tren. No side effects besides sweating. I could sleep. I wasn't overly aggressive, not more than on 350 milligrams. That was full as a house. Lower back pumps the whole day, shin splints, the whole 9 yards. But the terrible side effects I didn't really have. And now, even at 25 milligrams, I got bronchoconstriction and irritability. And after 6 weeks, it was like, you know what? I got all the recomping effects out of it. It's time to move on. So I'm happy to be off of it again.
Yeah, I had the same issues, man. I remember in my 30s, I could run 100 milligrams a day, 700 a week. And, like you said, I would get hot, but that was about it. And then I had to pull it down to like 300 a week. Then last year I did 25 milligrams a day, 175 a day. And this year usually I throw it in around 7 or 8 weeks out on contest prep. And I started off at 20 milligrams a day. And it just murdered my sleep, and my anxiety was through the roof. And then so I pulled it down to see, like what you were suggesting, pulled it down to 5 milligrams a day, and it still wasn't good. So I just like, screw this.
Yeah.
I do miss the body card.
If you win your pro card, you could say you did it without the Trenbolone sandwich. So that's a good story.
You know what's crazy? I'm 4 weeks out and I haven't even run any orals or anything yet. I'm going to add some in this week, and I've kept the AIs reasonable, but I'm gonna bury my estrogen here the last few weeks, and
Yeah.
I'm probably throwing a little Winstrol.
Did you watch the Aromatase video and the thinning the skin video that I posted on my YouTube channel, or didn't have time? Yeah. Yeah, so this is basically how we do it, right? You throw in the Winstrol and the aromatase inhibitors at the end when it's required. And then, you're already paper thin. And you're holding a little bit of water sometimes, but that's about it. I mean, your skin is the thinnest I've ever seen it. So you're going to look extra crispy this time.
Yeah.
With the protocol.
I had AJ Sims on and we were talking about it, but I think I'm going to kind of do what he does with people and just hammer the Winstrol really hard the last couple of weeks.
That's what I usually recommend. And then Anadrol for a couple of days and growth hormone for a couple of days to bring the fullness back. But the Winstrol is really the game changer because it inhibits the progesterone receptor, and it seems to, because it's in angioedema medication, right? So it takes all the water out of the subcutaneous space and it just shreds you the fuck up. It pulls the skin right in. Did you run it last year or no?
No, nope.
No, you'll see a significant change from last year. And then everybody's like, hey, he's 10 pounds heavier with better conditioning. And then the real changes will be very apparent.
Yeah, the plan, I think, I might throw in a little bit, like 25 milligrams a day at 3 weeks out. And then the last 10 days, I'll crank it up to 200 milligrams a day. Yeah. Go hard. And then Anadrol the last 2 days, we'll see how it goes. I did a test run with the Anadrol. Was it last week? And I haven't taken Anadrol in a long time, and I forgot how much I like Anadrol.
Yeah. You got to be super careful in the gym, though, when you start taking that stuff, because you get mad strong, right? And you get a crazy pump, and that's how you tear it. Because all the connective tissue and everything is dry, from the Winstrol and crushing your estrogen. So you got to be extra careful. You basically need a PA in the gym. It's like, today we're going to do 2 plates instead of 4. And you're going to go for 12 reps with 3 reps in reserve and super slow. No explosive shit. To kind of keep you on track.
I went right back to being off-season strong this past Sunday when I just did a test run of it. I only took 25 milligrams.
Oh, that's baby. That's a baby dose.
Yeah. I haven't done it in a long time. Shit, I haven't done Anadrol in a decade, but that was my favorite oral when I was younger.
Yeah, I love the Anadrol, man. That's how I tore all my hamstrings. Every time you go to 50 milligrams Anadrol and you get like super strong after 2 weeks, and then you start maxing out the leg curl, and then you go a little bit too far, and then boop, all right, time to go home. Black and blue. Stab it with GH for a week, and then it's good again. But
I've popped a hamstring before. It's no fun. It takes forever to heal.
Yeah, weirdly, it healed very fast for me. But to get the confidence back to really do the full stack again, that takes a while. And I still have some scar tissue on both sides. It's like the outer hamstring, so it makes it drop better. Right? I think that's the exact same spot that Nick Walker tore or Jose Raymond tore. And then when you see the hamstring drop from the side, it separates a little bit lower. And you get more of a shadow from the quad. So it does look better.
It's weird. Like I had 2 ACL surgeries done, right? So I had both sides, one done in my 20s, one in my 40s. And they used the last surgery, they used the hamstring. And that one hamstring does not look right compared to the other one. I
can't notice it though in your pictures.
Yeah, you'll see my right hamstring has more size, like it pops out more than the left one, and the left one is where they harvest. I hide it with my posing. I put the right foot back since it's the one that pops more. Right. I had that. I also have a pec tear on my right side. You can see just a little bit, but the way it tore, it looks like I have another striation in there. So it tore
same thing. So when you do like hands clasped, most muscular, on one side I got like a full striation, and then the left side it's not there. That's where I tore my pec on racking 315. I didn't even get to bench it, unfortunately.
Yeah, you'll see it in my pictures. I've really reworked my training now that I've gotten older. That's something that I think it's difficult for a lot of old guys to do. I was just talking to a friend of mine recently, and he was bragging about how he tore muscle going into a show, lifting hard. And I'm like, why would you do that, man? You're not going to get stronger. You're not growing the last couple of weeks before you go into a contest. So I don't understand going balls to the wall with your training the last couple of weeks going into a show. It just makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, especially with the weights. I mean, if you want to keep the intensity up by slowing the reps down and doing some pauses and some static holds, I mean, that's what I'm mostly focusing on. You know, using a little bit of the resistance bands and stuff. But I'm not aiming towards setting any personal records anymore. And I'm not even deep into dieting. You know, I'm basically, my physique is like 16 weeks out. It's like at the start of prep.
What seems to be a popular thing now, I've talked to some higher level coaches that are actually having people completely pull training out the last week going into a show, or just have light pump training. That's usually what I do.
Yeah.
I'll just go
just pausing, sleeping, and eating. That's the last week. And it's the same when I was still coaching athletes. I would pull the training down maybe 2 weeks, and then the last week no training, because otherwise you're just inflamed. And the fullness you can get, right? There's different kinds of fullness. You have fullness from creatine and growth hormone and carbohydrates and electrolytes and Anadrol and all these oral steroids, right? But you also have fullness from training. It's like training inflammation, but that seems to blur the definition the most.
Yeah.
And it also creates some sort of watery film over the body. So if you pull that out, I always notice it when I'm fasting, right? For 5.5 days, I don't eat, or maybe a little bit of vegetables. I don't go to the gym. And then by the end of it, I look the best. But I also look severely less bloaty, less watery if I just don't go to the gym for a week. So I noticed this for a long period of time already. So I would always recommend it to my athletes, just the last week, posing, sleeping, and eating. That's it. And it really limits the need for diuretics, if any, because there's no subcutaneous water, there's no bloat, and then the rest of the fullness you just restore with the peaking protocol, you know?
Yeah, I usually don't, like, I used a little bit of a diuretic last year. I used half of a hydrochlorothiazide the night before the show, but that was it.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually with training, I'll go in and do like half my weights just to get some blood flow, and then do posing. That's it. Like just a little light pump workout. No leg training for like the last 10 days or so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's typically how I do it. But you're right. It does create a film of water over you, and you have inflammation. I think a lot of times that you'll see it, especially at local shows. I think the phenomenon I see at local shows, there's usually like one or two guys that nail it. And then everybody else, there's two types of people. Either the guy that's just not in shape at all, or the guy that has just drove himself into the dirt. I've done that before.
Yeah. You see a lot of these guys. Legs are completely atrophied, and their waist is a little bit distended because they're just inflamed. And you usually can tell by the weigh-ins in the hotel cardio or hotel room gym. All these guys are still training like maniacs.
Yep.
Like they, you know. And I always laugh, or I would laugh at the World Championships because my athletes would be like, "Why are these guys still training?" I said, "Well, they're not ready, and they'll tear themselves into the ground because the carbs won't stick." And then exactly, they're like 8th or 12th place.
Yeah, they look terrible.
You need to rest the last 2 weeks.
I think part of it too is setting yourself up coming into contest prep. That was a big difference I made this year. Is I didn't let myself get fat. In the off season. I only got about 10, 15 pounds over my stage weight.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, I think I'm only down 5 pounds total from where I started prep, something like that.
Yeah, but you gained a lot of size in the meantime, right? But this is also the highest cycle you've ever run.
Yeah, it's the highest cycle I've ever run. And I also just ran TRT, bodybuilder TRT, whatever the hell you want to call it in the off season. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was whenever I remembered to take a shot.
Yeah. I know. So you get tired of pitting, man, after a while, especially if you just do preps. Like you do a big cycle during prep, and then you do TRT, and then prep again, right?
It's like, I'll start at 20 weeks out. Like I'll start pushing up. I'll titrate up into my prep where it starts at 16 weeks out, but I'll start off and then just taper up. Right now I'm running 3 grams. I'm running a gram of test, a gram of Primo, and a gram of Masteron. And people ask me why I'm not running the split of Masteron and Primo, and it's just because Primo's so damn expensive. I'd probably run all Primo.
Yeah. Yeah, you're running Masteron Enanthate or Propionate?
Enanthate.
Yeah, so you can do 200 milligrams per mil, so you don't have to pin another 10 cc's on top of that.
Yeah, I'm
running. It's only 5 cc's. Yeah.
I may pull the test down, but I don't know. Part of me, like, was talking with Roman Fritz, and he's like, if you're looking better every week, why change anything?
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed. Where do you think your estradiol is at right now? Because you have a test-to-primo ratio and a test-to-masteron ratio of 1-to-1. But you said you're a heavy aromatizer, I remember.
Yeah, so I'm running 25 milligrams of exemestane every other day, and I am going to switch to a milligram of Nastrozole every day. Justin wants me to start this week with 10 milligrams of tamoxifen to pull the water off to see where I'm at. So we're going to do that. I had my blood panels done a couple weeks ago, and my estradiol was in the high 20s.
Oh, okay. So it was already low.
Yeah, like 28 or something.
Yeah. Just keep in mind that Nolvadex speeds up the metabolism of Arimidex.
Yeah.
That's
I was talking about that. I may switch to letrozole.
It's also the same. It also speeds up the metabolism of letrozole, but less. Yeah, less. And letrozole is 2.5 milligrams, right? So it's a lot more potent. So you get like almost twice the suppression of estradiol on that dose. But if you run 2.5 milligrams Arimidex, you get more suppression than the letrozole dose of 2.5 milligrams.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, letrozole has worked for many a bodybuilder. So why fuck with it? You know?
Yeah, my past is I've put letrozole in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Usually. I remember when I got my blood panels done right after my show last year, my estradiol was not even measurable.
No, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so it was non-existent.
Yeah, you take a gram test, you take the masteron out and the primo out and the Arimidex out, and then 4 weeks later, your estradiol is nicely in range again.
Yeah, I have to be careful after a show with the estrogen rebound, so I have to taper out of things. That's one of the reasons why I don't go straight back into a TRT after a show. I'll just taper down my doses over a 6-week period of time. I'll pull all the orals, the Tren, and all the harsh shit.
Right.
And then just taper down. Usually, like, I'll do the rebound phase. I'll do 6 to 8 weeks or so, tapering back down into a TRT. And then
and that way you don't get fat, and you can slowly increase your calories a little bit and gain a little bit of size, but not too much fluff or bloat. Right? And then, oh man, you're going to be huge by the Olympia time then.
Yeah, and
you're basically coming out of prep and then at the end of the rebound. Shit, I'm really going to be small. Chase is going to be on 5 grams of gear, and you're going to be like swole to the gills. Fuck.
I may do 2 shows that we'll see. I have Masters Nationals, which is in 4 weeks, and then if I don't get a pro card there, then there's North Americans, which is 5 weeks later. If I were to get a pro card, then there is a pro show that weekend with a Masters division. So I want to at least get on stage one time. I might as well while I'm in shape if I feel good.
Might as well. And it's not like you feel terrible from dieting, right? I mean, now you're starting to feel it, but I mean, you told me, or I saw on many of your podcasts, that it was the smoothest prep you've ever done.
Yeah, it really hasn't felt like I was on prep until like the last week or so.
That's good.
Yeah, it's been part of it might be I'm just so damn busy that I don't think about it. I'm so on autopilot right now, but it's been really weird. Right. Like so this off season, I usually do a full blast and then just go straight into prep. I think it might have been beneficial keeping my food down a little bit and doing TRT this off season. I had a short break between shows, so it was only like 5 months, something like that. I don't know. I don't remember 4 or 5 months.
It's long enough to kind of resensitize.
Yeah, and I kind of played around with my diet a little bit. I was doing some intermittent fasting here and there. Like once a week, I would do a 24-hour fast to just kind of have some GI issues.
Right.
And I feel like that really let my gut heal up and helped my insulin sensitivity. And I kept way leaner this off season. I started when I got a DXA scan done at the start of prep. I was around 11% body fat, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
I just had one done this week, and it was 6.4.
That's really good. Yeah. The lowest you're going to get is like 4.8. 4.5.
Last year, I was on stage in the 5s. on the DXA scan. DXAs tend to seem to read higher. I don't know if you've done one before or not.
No, I don't think we have that available here in town.
No, because they read
Mine
everything.
would be 20 anyway.
No, you're not 20%. You're pretty lean.
Yeah, pretty lean. Yeah, but it would be double digits, probably 10, 12, something like that.
It's pretty cool because it'll tell you your visceral fat and all, everything. It shows everything. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I should get that done. I did like a fibro scan again on my liver not too long ago. It was just normal because I had that non-alcoholic fatty liver disease a couple of years back from all the copious amounts of foods that I would eat during the off season. So that luckily didn't came back, but I have no aspirations to really be super big again, even though I'm struggling not to put on size. It just wants to come back now.
I had a fatty strip on my liver when I let myself get out of shape and just was being a fat ass. And I came back, and after I did that one contest prep where I got completely emaciated, the fatty strip was gone.
Yeah, I'm sure there's no fat in your body anywhere.
Yeah, it completely resolved after that.
You just got to diet hard, at least once a year. At least once a year.
That's what I tell all my clients, man. Once a year, you got to diet down hard, get lean. Mm-hmm. No perma bulking under my watch, at least. No,
that's what I learned also. Like you can bulk for like 2 years, but then at one point the insulin sensitivity and issues with your liver just start to manifest, and you just have chronically elevated liver enzymes and triglycerides start to creep up. So, yeah, that's my opinion also. 1 time per year you come off, or you do a low dose for 3 months, and 1 time per year you do a proper diet for a couple months.
Yep.
So you have 6 months left to really gain size. But that's usually enough.
That's pretty much what I do. I found for me an off-season blast somewhere around 20 weeks is kind of where I see the productive part of it being. That much past that, it's the things just stop working. It seems like.
Yeah, agreed. And your body feels tired. You put on so much weight and size, and you need some time off from the gym. You can't keep grinding your gears, fucking kicking ass in the gym. Your joints start to hurt. And
you get lethargic. Yeah, your cardiovascular health probably declines. Mm-hmm. It's just, I don't know. I don't think it's a good thing to go much further than that. And then usually what I'll do is just shift into a cut, and then, like you said, have a maintenance phase. It was interesting talking to Dean about pulling down the TRT, and I didn't consider this, and he has a theory about when you're blasting constantly and a lot of the organ stress that you see. Hopefully I'm not slaughtering this, but he was talking about how the pool of stem cells that you have in your body are mostly going to hypertrophy and not organ repair. That's why guys have this accumulation of organ stress. If they don't ever come down, you have to pull down the true TRT to allow that to allow any repair to happen, and kind of probably dial your food back and dial your training back a bit to let things.
And I agree. It's just taking the pressure off, right? Because we're redlining basically 9 months out of the year. And because if we do TRT, it's sports TRT, so that's already ramping it up. And then the food intake is like 5,000 calories. So, I mean, how much of a pressure puts that on your intestinal tract? So I do think that you need like 3 months to kind of reset. And if you can do longer. But for most guys, it's mentally tough because during those 3 months, they shrink. And they're not there at that size yet where they get to maintain it. And even when they shrink down, that they're still happy with their body weight. I mean, I was off for a year, right? And even though I was significantly smaller, I was still big. I was 200 pounds lean, and that's way higher than my natural potential. And when I posted pictures, people are like, what the fuck? It looks like you're on TRT. But it's just years of solidified muscle. And if you don't give up the lifestyle, besides the steroids, then most of it maintains. But most guys are just not at a point where they're willing to come off cycle and drop down to, close to their absolute natural potential.
And I don't think guys believe you when you tell them. It's funny. It seems to be the guys that just don't have experience with this. They don't believe you that you can hang on to it. I was on 200 to 250 milligrams of testosterone this past off season. I maintained 250 pounds, 255. I mean, body composition wasn't good.
But you're still big in the shirt, right? And then if you're 11%, 12%, where did you end up at the DXA scan?
It was like 11 and some change, something like
Yeah.
that.
So that's super lean, you know, but it looks a little bit fluffy because you're in the off season and you're not taking the PEDs that makes you look better cosmetically because you're just running TRT. Then I know within 4 to 6 weeks, you completely mutate, obviously, when you get back on gear, you know?
Well, you saw it. What happened to me after about 6 weeks of being back on? I blew up to about 265, and then I kind of backed down from there.
It's the same would happen to me. I blew up to 100 kilos from 92 to 102, 105 some days. And then with better body composition, it got significantly leaner and a lot bigger. And then the funny thing is people that haven't seen you in a while or in the gym, they only see you when you're off or TRT. They're like, this guy looks okay. And then you go through the mutation and within 6 weeks, they're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He must be on 5 grams of gear. No, I just reintroduced him again. I'm restoring my old size because it's daily changes. I still get daily changes when I get a pump. You go to the gym and people are like, what the hell's going on, dude? You're bigger than yesterday, right? But
it's just wild.
I'm coming back into my own shape, my previous shape. So I got some more, mutation to do. But it's been almost 10 weeks now. So I'm starting to flatline on the progress. Now
What's your plan?
I just want to get lean for the Olympia. That's it. In 3 weeks, I'm going to go to Dubai and Holland. So I want to be lean there. I have a wedding and I meet some other bodybuilders, some old friends of mine. And then after that, it's, I guess, just get lean for the Olympia. So I look presentable because last year I was a skinny little boy compared to everybody else because I dropped so much weight. And this year I just want to look bigger and full as a house. I'll hover around 100 kilos. So that's 225, 230.
I mean,
which is okay.
That's pretty solid. How tall are you?
Pretty good. 5'9".
5'9"? Yeah, that's great at 5'9".
Yeah. The good thing is it's all in my upper body. So it's...
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So the legs are still a little bit up and down. I know I can get them big again if I wanted to, but I'd have to really hammer the drugs and the food for a while. And I just don't want to do it because you get so tired. You get so fucking lethargic. And then I have 2 days where I'm just staring at the computer screen, not being productive after that.
Yeah, that's the downside of pushing is my productivity goes down. My productivity is better on contest prep.
Yeah. Yeah, because you train less hard. You keep a couple reps in reserve, and then you eat less food. Okay, you take more drugs, but most of the steroids are stimulating, so it helps with productivity.
Yeah, the stimulants help too.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, you're on clenbuterol and ephedrine at the same time.
Yeah, I don't. The ephedrine, I just some days I take it, some days I don't. It just depends, man. The clenbuterol doesn't seem to negatively affect my sleep like the ephedrine does. The ephedrine really will screw up my sleep.
Yeah, you can take that maybe once a day. But the clenbuterol, you can do 20 microgram servings throughout the day and not affect sleep.
Yeah, the clenbuterol doesn't seem to. I'm at 100 right now on clenbuterol. Mm-hmm. Usually I go up to 80, but I'm at 100, and then usually what I'll do is on my high day, which is today. Mm-hmm. Unlimited high day, yay! I'm trying to eat as many carbs as I possibly can.
Yeah. Take a bunch. Thanks for squeezing it in between the meals, the podcast.
I was eating my toast with jam before I talked to you.
There you go. Nice.
But yeah, what I'll do is kind of my thing, and I'll see it in my sleep patterns now that I've been tracking my sleep. I'll take off all of the fat burners, including the clenbuterol on the high day.
Yeah, you have to. Otherwise, you're just wasting it on heartbeats.
Yeah, I just assume you're not burning any fat anyway. And then
true. But your heart rate also goes sky high. It might even be better to take a beta blocker on your high day, so you don't need to eat so much, so you don't distend your stomach.
Possibly,
but do that not after this prep. Don't fuck with that right now. But it's an idea that I've had for a long time. Just take a beta blocker on your high day. Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'll do that, and then I'll see it. My sleep goes back up. I'll get 9 hours of sleep after the high day, and then each consecutive day as I ratchet down, the sleep gets worse. And the day before my high day, it's usually 5 hours, and then it resets. And I can see it too, heart rate variability changes too as well.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and it's all the stimulants and lack of carbs. And when I say lack of carbs, you're still having, 250 on your low day?
200.
Shit. It's more than I have on my high day.
I was going hypo.
I can imagine. 3 grams of gear.
On 200 with no insulin, man. I woke up the other morning on my low day. I'll do a little extra cardio on my low day. I don't know. It's probably nonsensical, but I'll try to get some extra walks and stuff in. But I woke up and I did my morning walk. I usually go for like a 20, 30-minute walk in the morning, and I started feeling really woozy after the walk, fasted, and I came back in and checked my glucose, and it was 56. Yeah. Yeah,
I've had it 42, but then you don't notice it because you're on a ketogenic diet, so your brain is in ketosis, and then after a while you get the numb tongue and the lips. You're like, what the hell's going on? Because your brain doesn't register it because it's working on ketones. And then you check your blood glucose, you're like, 42? Shit. And then you just have a protein shake because that converts into glucose also, because you don't want to kick yourself out of ketosis. But it's scary sometimes. That was also on long-acting insulin. So it's stupid experiments. Yeah. I gotta be careful.
On the high day, I'll throw insulin in. Usually, today, Justin told me an unlimited high day, so I'll run like 30 units of Lantus in the morning. And then what I'll do is just measure my glucose at my meals and see where I'm at, and then dole out the human log as necessary.
Yeah, if you need to top up.
Yeah, so I like people want to have a prescribed dose of human log. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. You got to check it before every meal and after every meal, an hour postprandial. Yep. Yeah, and that's sort of the difference between the guys that are achieving and the guys that are just trying to, point fingers. It's like, I must be on more insulin. So, no, we're checking everything all the time. It's annoying, but this is how it works. I was doing the same thing during my off seasons. Check blood glucose in between every meal, just to make sure everything is going in the right direction.
Yeah, I was playing around with a continuous glucose monitor this off season. That's interesting. I noticed, like, sometimes my fasting blood sugar would be high, but my A1C was normal. So I noticed, like, I get some sort of dawn effect. I would see my glucose bottom out while I was sleeping, and I'll see that with clients sometimes. I'll see it with dudes on contest prep all the time, where their blood sugar will start going up, and what'll happen is it's bottoming out in the middle of the night.
Yeah. And you get the glucagon response and cortisol in the morning when you wake up, and then it goes sky high. It's like, I'm losing insulin sensitivity. So no, it's you're just going hypo during the night. How wet are your bed sheets right now? Oh, soaked. They don't even notice it. Yeah. Yep. So was it bad, or were you using a Dexcom or one of the other ones?
Dexcom.
Yeah, I like that one. It's a good one.
It's a pain in the ass, though.
Yeah, I know. You can't stick it anywhere because you don't have any skin. So the only real place is either on your chest or on your shoulder, but it's very noticeable because it's the place that moves the least.
I was putting it on the back of my tricep.
Yeah. Yeah, you can also put it there. It's fun.
If I could reach my hand around there, that's the issue.
You're too big now. Too big now.
I don't know how much longer it makes sense to be this size, though. We'll see. I'm 50 now.
Get your pro card and then assess from there. At some point. And then if you can do a pro show and see how you size up, and then if you say, you know what? I mean, what is it for classic? What is the cutoff there for pro? It's bigger, right, than amateurs?
38, I think.
Maybe do a classic show in Masters if they have one.
Yeah, they do it 238. So yeah, I'm in that weird in between spot where I'm a little too big for classic and probably not big enough for open. Yeah,
same. But then again, I don't have your waist. Like, my waist is pretty wide from all the heavy rows and stuff. It's better than before. So I was in a rock and a hard place because I would be able to make weight for classic, but I would not look classic. And I don't want to put on the size for open because I need to be 270 on stage or 260, you know, with my waist. And I'll never be that.
With me and the NPC, I'd have to get down to 232, which I'm sitting around 250 right now. That I don't think that's happening.
No.
It was interesting talking to Wesley Vissers. I didn't realize he's under the cap. He doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks huge. He said he's like 5-6 pounds under the cap.
He's leading you around. He changed so much after he signed with Stefan Kienzl and really dialed everything in. I mean, that guy's like the new next level coach now.
Yeah, he's getting people in shape.
In fucking good shape. It's insane.
And you never hear about him. He keeps kind of out of the limelight, it seems like.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. Just wants to work with his athletes. But that's kind of what it is, you know. It's about the athlete, not about the coach. But of course, all the athletes will thank the coach, hopefully. I mean, did you see the picture from Nathan Diasha?
Yeah.
That he posted today? Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, Nathan was good, but now he's insane.
Yeah, he looks
crazy.
Oh,
Shit.
Yeah, it makes you, anytime I see somebody that's doing stuff different with people, it makes you wonder what they're doing, what the secret sauce is. A lot of times, just consistency and hard work.
Consistency. And I think respect for the coach, right? If you know that your coach is delivering every single time, all you have to do is follow. You know? And then Wesley spilled all the beans on one of the podcasts with Kurt Havens, right? Or was it with your podcast?
Yeah, he talked about it.
So it doesn't sound like anything new.
No, he was telling me that he basically ran essentially what the cycle I'm doing.
Yeah, but he pulled his test down towards the end.
Yeah, he pulled his test down towards the end and used very minimal amounts of Tren and only put the orals in at the end.
Yeah, so I think it's just time under steroids and consistency as an athlete. I'll try to meet Wesley when I go to Holland in 3 weeks. See if we can do some sort of collab together.
He's such a nice guy.
He's good people. I remember when I see him every time at the Olympia, so it's like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, you'll meet him. You'll meet him too at the Olympia. He'll have a booth.
I think
I got to buy him some new Golden Arrow shirt because when I bought it last year, I was like a size smaller, and now it's super tight. So it's digging into my shoulders. That shirt that I got from him.
It's hilarious to me that he listens to me. I'll see him pop into my live stuff sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's funny.
That's a bit surreal.
I mean, again, when you go to the Olympia, you'll see how many people are actually following our channels.
Oh, it was insane at the Arnold. I have a bit of social anxiety.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you've been there.
Yeah, I have a bit of a social anxiety, and it was overwhelming me a few times. I had to like go outside and catch my breath because
really
coming up. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Coming up and talking.
So you might want to take a beta blocker then at the Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
That will calm you down.
Yeah, I'll take something with me.
Yeah.
But for somebody that's on social media, I don't particularly like getting a lot of attention.
Get used to it, man. If you're almost at 30,000, imagine when you're at 100 or 150. It just keeps getting more and more and more. It's just part of the game. You got to take it as it comes.
Well, I really enjoy helping people and trying to get good information out there where I can. And it's interesting meeting all the people like you and Kurt and other people that I've Dean, all these very smart people that have helped me improve.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what the community is there for. Right? We got to help each other.
That's what drives me nuts about the guys that get so angry and hostile towards other. I mean, we know a few of those people, but it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot.
But I think it's just normal. Like there's jealousy and hate. It's in all walks of life, right? I mean, I had it as a business consultant. I'm sure you had it as a business owner. Yeah. People don't want to cheer for other people's success because they're here. And then as soon as you start to level up, they're trying to pull you down. That's one of the reasons why I left Holland. And it's in every aspect of life, in every field. And we also have that in the bodybuilding community. There's just some guys who can't take it and try to bring you down to their level. And I think when you start to exceed, you just have to ignore it at one point. Because, I mean, I got so many haters I can't even keep track. You know, there's I get, videos sent every week like, oh, this guy's talking shit, this guy's talking shit. I'm like, whatever, man. It just comes with the territory. And Derek gave me a huge rundown he said, when I had like 30,000 subscribers, he's like, you know what, from 50,000 it gets worse. And when you break 100, it's terrible. And he was right. I mean, the amount of haters that Derek has at 2 million subscribers, it just comes with the territory. So, and all you can do is keep going and become more successful and laugh it off. It's all a joke.
I'm going through the stages of it now. It annoyed me and upset me at first, and now I'm just like, I don't even pay attention to it.
Acceptance. That's the last one, right?
And I'm trying to coach Kurt through it now. He's dealing with it.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Kurt also recently.
He gets very upset with people being critical, but I was the same way. I remember you telling me, just ignore it. Just ignore it. That's all you can do. Or address it in a joking fashion. I mean, I went after Palumbo, then he went after me, and my wife got death threats, and it was insane, dude. And I just laughed it off because what can you do? It's part of the territory. Yeah, I try to, like, if somebody's being a real jerk and they're high profile, I'll just kind of poke fun at them a little bit. Just give them a little bit of a rib shot. Yeah. Nothing. That's all you can do. I see you and your subtle rib shots.
There you go. Yeah.
You're very clever about it.
It's like Inception. Inception. You got to plant the seed so people know exactly what's going on.
You can call them out without calling them out.
You spin the dreidel.
I'm taking a lesson from the master.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that way. It's just satire, and then nobody can say like he's directly attacking people. Sometimes I do that, but then it's only for a reason because something is blatantly off.
I laughed the other day when you had your thing up about high estrogen, and it is definitely the dudes, the proponents of high estradiol that tend to be mental.
Yeah, but it's also in the TRT space. In the TRT space, there's a lot of guys that are, adamant against aromatase inhibitors. You should never use them. And all these guys appear like they have a few screws loose. And I'm like, dude, steroids are neurotoxic. End of story. It just haven't been investigated in every context. So you can say that aromatase inhibition is worse, but what else are you doing? Nobody's just running TRT. We're all doing HRT plus with Primo and Mastro. And there's no evidence that it is that it's neurotoxic because it hasn't been investigated. So, it's not like we're all getting smarter by taking these steroids. But it might help with cognitive decline when you're old, but that's because you're androgen deficient.
But from experimenting that there are certain things that seem in certain ways of doing things that are way worse for your psychological health than others. I feel
high estrogen and a little bit of Tren. That's one of them, and that's what these guys are advocating. So, and the symptoms are clearly there because everybody hates these guys.
Yeah.
So in the story, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You do your estrogen high, you run your Tren around, you turn into a dickhead, and nobody will respect you anymore. So, what more evidence do you need?
Yeah, I mean that's it for me. And I've trust me, man. When people don't believe me, I've tried everything that you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, same here.
And I feel the best on test, Primo, GH, and running an AI as appropriate.
Yeah.
Keeping my estradiol in the off season, I'll keep it at the high end of the reference range or slightly above.
Yeah.
And I feel great. My blood work looks great.
Same here. Same here, man. It's not rocket science. It tests Primo, Anavar, GH, insulin. Done. That's it. Right? And then during contest prep, you can throw in the Mastrol and the Winstrol. Cool. Right? And if you really want to dice it in, Anadrol and Superdrol and Halo test it. But that's only the last couple of days. It's really for most guys, if you can't get it done with 5 compounds, you just have no business in this space, Actually 3, test GH and insulin. Honestly, if you can't get it done in those 3, then I don't see a reason why you would want to be in this sport, Okay, you need an aromatase inhibitor to control the estrogen on testosterone, but that's an ancillary. It's not anabolic.
I've made the best progress of my life from 45 to 50, and I'm not trying to sound like a braggart here. I don't know of many people, and many other guys in the world that have made as much progress as I have from 45 to 50. And all I've run is test, Primo, and GH for the most part. That's it.
Yeah.
Like 90% of the time. A little bit of insulin here and there.
Yeah, it's insane, right? Yeah,
I've
but
changed
that
my
doesn't sell. This doesn't sell, Paul. You got to make content about DNP and adipotide and injectable ephedrine and all that stuff. Yeah, you got to give the people what they want, because there's always, the grass is always greener behind door number 5.
Everybody wants there to be some obscure cycle. I had a coaching client recently I took on that after a month, he fired me. He was like, I was expecting more than this. He's like, this is not.
I've had that. I've had that so many times.
It's like, this is not what I was looking for. And I'm like, what did you think was going on that I told you that you have to have your diet buttoned up, your training buttoned up, and then you just take simple compounds and escalate them up as necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, but if the foundation is there, I don't mind experimenting, right, with clients. Like, this and that, and they do their blood work, and they track their blood glucose levels, and they send me logs of their blood pressure. I don't fucking mind, right? They live the lifestyle. Let's go to fucking town, right? If you have the money and the resources for it, we'll do the Increlex and the IGF and the insulin and the everything. Right? But most guys, they're not ready for those steps yet because the lifestyle isn't there. The lifestyle needs to be adopted first.
Yeah.
That's the problem you run into these guys. So they still eat hamburgers and fast food, and they drink. And then they're like, why do I have so many side effects on 500 tests? Well, you're treating your body like shit. Why is my blood pressure so high? Well, you're eating like shit.
Well, it goes back to the simple philosophy for me. I mean, it's Occam's razor. Don't worry about the 10% until you have the 90 buttoned up. If you don't have the 90 buttoned up, the 10% doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You can start, the guys that are doing attention to detail and all the little, I do some nuanced stuff like, tracking my blood sugar throughout the day using a CGM. If you're not following a diet, it don't fucking matter. Why is it 300 at some points? Oh, yeah, I know. I had the milkshake at Five Guys. Right. It doesn't matter at that point. I don't know. I think guys are looking for overly complex answers to some, or solutions to simple problems. I don't know. But that's just my mind.
But then what's so weird? Like, my cycles are pretty complicated, right? I mean, I run Test, and Primo, and Anavar, and GH, and Increlex, and ancillaries, and all these little micro experiments in the meantime. And then you have like part of the crowd, they love it. And then the other part of the crowd, they're like mortified. Like, what, Steve, what are you doing? Why is it so complicated? How much money does this cost? Why are you injecting NAD plus and taking NMN and all these little things, right? And that's, I mean, for me, it's super interesting, and it's also content. I mean, let's be honest. But like, some people are really adverse to that idea to really optimize everything, small amounts, and other guys love it. So you can't really win because there's so many different audiences that are after particular things and have their own biases. And some guys are purely after TRT information, and some guys are purely after bodybuilding information. So it's really hard to kind of navigate the different audiences and keep everybody pleased. So after all, I just gave up. I'm like, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to be transparent with my blood work every single month. And if there's a reason to come off or stop particular things or a problem, then I'm going to address it like I always have. So, and if I fuck up live on camera, then okay, it's on me. it's right? I mean, when I fucked up with the NAFLD, I fix it too. Believe me, I realize that there's so many guys with NAFLD, but they're not talking about it. That's the difference.
It's very common.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my issues with it.
Yeah.
I probably should go get a ultrasound done again at some point, but
after prep, I'm sure you're fine.
Yeah. It's usually everything's fine after prep. That's the funny part, man. My blood work gets better on prep. It's the worst at the end of off season, except for maybe like in liver enzymes get elevated.
Oh, wow. Mine usually gets worse. Mine is already starting to creep up. My liver enzymes are elevated, CPK, creatine, like all the metabolic markers that are related to training. Lipids are okay. Complete blood count is okay because I'm not running so much. Insulin score, that's all fine. And, yeah, it will never be perfect though.
Yeah, I just did my blood panels in a week, 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I posted up some of it. The only thing that was my hemoglobin and hematocrit were a little bit elevated. Nothing crazy. I think my hematocrit was at 51. I mean, I'm not worried about that.
That's fine. For a gram of primo, that's fine.
My hemoglobin was 17 something, low 17s. I'm not that worried about it. And my ALT and AST were like in the 50s. I mean, that's pretty typical for people
that's it.
Use it. Yeah.
You gotta train harder.
I do all these reps in reserve, Steve.
Yeah. I still go to failure, man. I fucking love it. I can't. I'd rather just train. I go balls to the wall 3 to 4 weeks, right? Within some moderation so I don't kill myself. But I go hard, and then around the turn of the month, I take a week off or a deload. So I don't run myself into the ground. So it's like 3-4 weeks that are hard. And then around the turn of the month, it's like a rest. And that seems to be quite sustainable. And I stopped doing all these crazy exercises on sleds or with cables. So everything is on a pendulum movement. And that really saves my joints as well. Yeah.
It was a hard adjustment for me. I have not trained to failure probably in like 4 or 5 years. And I was a DC trainer. So that...
It's like not coming at all. It's all edgy.
that mindset was really hard for me to switch that off and be more intelligent with my training. Believe me, if I could train to failure, I would love to train to failure. If I could go higher intensity, I would go higher intensity, but I just kept getting hurt and I get so beat up and inflamed, I couldn't train. So I've been doing more volume. I'll keep a rep or two in reserve. I kind of train, I would say, more like Mike Israel's style of training.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still pretty intense. I mean, with the volume periodization, where volume gets escalated over a 5 or 6 week block, and then you pull back down and you'll push the weights up and then escalate volume with those. That's sort of how I've done it. It's still progressive in nature, but I've kept a rep or two in the tank, and I've been very cautious with my exercise selection. I do a cost versus benefit analysis on it, like you were saying with the pendulum. If it's going to beat up my joints, I don't do it. Like I get guys all the time telling me their backs are all torn up from doing deadlifts, and I'm like, well, why are you doing deadlifts when you're 50 years old? Probably not.
If you love doing it, okay,
but that's fine. You know. But I am specifically training to look good on stage. It's nothing else. I don't care about anything else. So it's focused on that, producing that result in the most optimal way possible.
I eventually got to go to this protocol also. Yeah, but you got to keep in mind I've been back in the gym for 10 weeks, actually training with enjoyment again. So give me this moment.
It was a total
training without on HCG monotherapy. It was fucking hell.
Oh, I'm sure.
I went to the gym, and every day I was there, I was like, why the hell am I here? No pump, nothing.
Yeah, that's
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was a total mindfuck for me to switch. I believe me, I've thought about maybe I can go back and do more of a traditional progressive overload style of training. Do a couple blocks after this because I do love training that way. If I keep it to machines, keep the reps higher, maybe I can do that. But I get incredibly strong, and the problem is I get so damn strong, I end up tearing shit, and I have bad joints and all sorts of injuries that I just have to be really careful with. If you get hurt and you're out of the gym, you can't progress. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Luckily, I haven't injured myself in years now. Nothing serious. Like sometimes my hips are a little bit tight, but then I do some massage therapy and it opens it right up. And I had like a shoulder impingement here in the front, which I did some dry needling, some acupuncture on. And that was pretty brutal. It was like all fucked up first, and now it's gone. I had some adhesions, and he just stuck a needle through it, and it's good now. So now my mobility on my shoulder is really, really nice.
Most of my injuries are non-bodybuilding. They're like my shoulders are all beat up. That's mostly from jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu screwing me up. So it's
and a dog, right? Pulling the chain.
Yeah, that shoulder's already messed up. I have a torn labrum, and I have a 160-pound mastiff, and he took off after another dog, and my shoulder comes out of socket real easy, and my shoulder popped out. It's been sore. It's getting better, but what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah. I think at this point, the way you look for 50 is absolutely stellar. So if you didn't have those injuries, how much better would you look? That's the question, right? Would you look 1% better, 5% better, 10% better? It's hard to quantify.
Probably a lot better, but what can you do? I just do the best with what I have.
Yeah, that's right. So you got the show coming up, and then maybe one more show after that, and then kind of cruise into the Olympia and just meet everybody, have fun. Yeah.
That's the plan. And I, off season, I want to get this piece of Gyno that grew back fixed.
Yeah.
I gotta go. Everybody loves to point out my pointy nipple. And there's just I've had Gyno surgery twice, and it's grown back again.
Yeah. I need to do it also. I don't like to do the surgery. I met a couple gyno doctors here in Thailand, and the one that I really liked was very overpriced. And the other ones I didn't like. I didn't have any faith in it, so I kind of procrastinated to do it. Amy had a good discussion, though, on your podcast on the live stream.
Yeah, she's very knowledgeable. I mean, she works, she's a nurse practitioner at a plastic surgery practice. She's been there 20 years, I think she said, something like that.
Yeah, maybe we can all do a consult with her at the Mr. Olympia and just give her some instructions and write it down for the gyno doctor to review before he puts a fucking incision in there.
I have a friend that's a plastic surgeon, so I'll probably get him to do it. But I had him fix my left one, which was screwed up, and then my right one I didn't do at the time. He told me not to worry about it, but it's grown. It was just like I ran some NPP and it grew back.
Yeah. I got Gyno on 25 milligrams of Tren. It was like, one day I woke up, I'm like, what the hell? It's like literally like a giant pimple in one night. I was like, what the hell's going on? Now it's subsided quite a bit, but it's a little bit bigger than it was before. So I think if I decide to do the gyno surgery, I'm just going to go on Tren and Mint at the same time, no estrogen management, and just let everything grow. Then the inflammation subsides, and then I'll let them cut everything out. I don't want to do this twice or 3 times. Fuck that.
Yeah, I've been there. Well, the first doctor I did just completely botched it. On the podcast this past weekend, I showed it. I had a picture where I was showing Amy where they yanked all the stuff out, and there was still surgical material.
Yeah. That's how I got our initial podcast demonetized. Because we talked about this gyno, and then I overlaid those pictures in the podcast, and then YouTube flagged it for violence or something, or grotesque graphic content. Yeah, and then it was demonetized, so I never made any money on that podcast.
I just voluntarily demonetized the video, and I figured they would take it down. I just don't give a crap.
Yeah, it's not that much. Still, it's good for reach. When it's monetized, it grows. It goes further in the algorithm.
Yeah, I noticed that I don't get as many views if I take the monetization off. But yeah, I got like this, like it's a little like marble size piece of Gyno that's sitting. I can shrink it up a bit with tamoxifen, so I'll pull it down before the show, but it's just annoying.
Yeah.
It'll
if you ice it on the day of the contest, it will be even smaller.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So you just get one of those ice packs, a couple one in a cooler box, and just backstage, just like that. Put a little towel on it so you don't fuck up your color, and then you just ice it.
But people love to talk about my nipple on my when I post my progress pics up. I just turn it into a running joke at this point.
Yeah, you got to be funny, man. I mean, people will find the smallest mistakes on your physique and just point it out. You know,
I'm old. I'm beat up. I've got scars. I've got my stomach's all screwed up looking from various surgeries, and
you're still here having fun with bodybuilding, man. So it's better than most people. Yeah,
just out here having fun.
Exactly. What do you think about the upcoming competition season, like the Mr. Olympia? Are you excited for it?
Yeah, man. I'm a bodybuilding nerd, so I love it. But there's some interesting young guys right now. You know who I really like, and I was impressed with, is Martin Fitzwater.
Yeah.
He just needs to get a little bit bigger.
Yeah, but he made stellar improvements in 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, he has a very, very, probably, I don't know, maybe one of the most symmetrical physiques in the open.
And it's weird. He has some representations of Phil Heath. And I think if he can bring his back up, especially some thickness and detail, he'll look very bubbly. And that's unique for a white guy. I mean, let's be honest,
you usually don't see white guys like that.
Yeah. So I think he's got a very far way to go, and he'll match up very well with 1 or 2 years with Hadi Choopan and Derek Lunsford, because they're all shapely and on the shorter side. You know, so I think they could be like a top 3, perpetual top 3, unless what is his name, Samson Dowda wins, and then the top 3 is going to change to taller guys, obviously.
He just never seems to be able to nail his conditioning. I don't know what's going on with Samson.
Doesn't listen, apparently.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard he doesn't listen.
And I was with the Oxygen team, and they'll be on his ass, but I've heard stories about the Oxygen crew that they're very abusive with the drugs.
Yeah, I have too. I've seen some of the protocols. They're crazy.
You've seen them also, right? It's insane.
Crazy with the oils.
And I've been there. And I talked with some people that are like under that entire team, and it was pretty extreme.
Well, they get you big. You might not live to 50, but...
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah, but fuck, man, if you're married and I don't think Samson needs that much. He seems like a genetic freak, but still, you know, if you're third, you're going to a new coach and they're pushing drugs on you, what are you going to do?
When we were at the Arnold, it was really clear. I know that some people were upset that he didn't win, but, I mean, when Hadi walked out on the stage, I mean, it was just...
Game over. It's fucking game over.
There was no competition between the two. And then Samson, to me, looked like he was like 4 or 5 weeks out.
Yeah.
He just had a film of water all over him, or I don't know what it was, or maybe he just wasn't lean enough.
Both not lean enough and a film of water. These taller guys are harder to dial in. I mean, that is true. But you know, if you want to win, then you just got to put everything into it, right? And Milos said himself that he didn't want to do so much cardio and, you know, didn't want to practice the posing and stuff. So, again, that's just what Milos said. So you never really know what's going on. And yeah, I mean, if you're clearly not dialing it in show to show, then you need to change something. And whether that's listening to your current coach or changing the coach. You know, but if like I see some guys that keep changing coaches and never dial it in, then it's the fucking athlete. I mean, let's be honest. If you can't get diced with any coach, then it's just the athlete just not listening.
Yeah, usually when people coach hop, even at the amateur level, it's on them, not so much. Once in a while, you know, there might be something that you just don't line up with a coach, and that's fine. But typically what I see is that guys just aren't listening, or they don't follow your instructions, and then they blame you for the results.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was talking about. And then they go to the next coach. I didn't know what he was talking about. So coach yourself then. I mean, what is his name? He was third last weekend or the weekend before. John Jewett. And he coached himself. And I was a slight film of water. Slight. But he looked fucking great.
Yeah.
He looked fucking great. And he coached himself.
Yeah.
You know, so it is doable.
I mean, Roman coaches himself.
Yeah, coached himself, yeah. And he's also fucking good. Maybe it's just purely a white thing. No, Sean Ray also coached himself. He also
Dorian. I mean, didn't most of the guys in the 90s, those guys didn't really have coaches back then.
No.
Some of them did.
Yeah, Lee Haney also didn't have a coach. Yeah, it's something new, you know.
Yeah, that started after the 2000s. I remember Sean, or, what's his name? The guy coached Ronnie Coleman.
Chad Nichols. Yeah, they had a huge
Chad Nichols. Yeah, I remember he was kind of like one of the first big guys.
Yeah, Chad and Chris Aceto. And then Hani Rambot. Yeah, used to work for Chad, apparently. And now he's doing his own thing. And now you got hundreds of coaches. But I think Stefan Kienzl is one of the new guys that is really, really promising. I mean, everything that he's done so far. I thought William Bonac was a little bit on the flatter and smaller side compared to before, but he was in crazy conditioning.
I mean, he looked great.
Yeah, it looked great. So it's sort of just figuring out his body, I guess. And hopefully he can really bring that fullness back for the Mr. Olympia.
How hard are these Olympians, though, to dial? I don't know. I mean, these guys are...
I know, like Nathan, for example, he dies for 6 weeks, and then he shows up like fucking crazy. I think it's just, with the Mr. Olympia, it's the traveling, changing the time zones, right? It's, for a lot of guys, it's on the other side of the planet. And then the desert heat, and then the crowds, right? You have the expo booth that you need to be attending 2 days, and then the meet and greet, and the press conference. It's a lot for these guys. That's why some of these guys don't dial it in, because they're on their feet the entire weekend and they don't sleep.
Yeah, I will say this. When I was at the Arnold, in Samson's defense, he was at the hostile booth like the whole freaking day, shaking hands and stuff.
Yeah.
He was down there hanging out.
Yeah, so how lean is your lower body going to be? You know, if you're on your feet all the time, you need to lay down. And so that's very hard, because the sponsors, of course, demand it, and the sponsors put money in the pockets of the athlete, and you can't solely rely on the paycheck from the competition. You know?
Yeah, I saw him. He was out. I mean, he was being very gracious and talking to people. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is why Chase Irons got his own booth now, because he didn't want to walk around the expo. Last year, he was struggling. Like, I was off everything, right? So I didn't hold water. My feet were hurting a little bit, but he was like primed, like 280 pounds and you know, growth hormone and stuff. So his ankles started to swell because you're walking around and your food is irregular and you're eating out all the time. So he was like, this year, you know what? I'm gonna get a booth, and I'm down for it. I think he already paid for it, or he's finalizing it this week. So there will be Chase Irons and friends. 10 by 10 in feet, 2 couches, and a couple other things. And yeah, I'll chip in. No worries.
I'll bring some cameras with me. We'll film some stuff.
Yeah, we'll film some stuff. And then if we can get like a little fridge and a microwave and some coffee table, and we'll just sit down there and just watch. You know, people can come to us. We can just, but it will also be on the map. The little floor plan that you get with the QR code of your Olympia ticket. And you just scan the QR code and you go to, I don't know, aisle F, booth 16, something like that. And then we'll be there, or most of the day, because I got some obligations.
So, folks, if you're at the Olympia, come see us. Yeah,
come see us, yeah. You'll see Chase first, and then Paul, and then Kurt, and then I'll be the smallest.
Kurt's bigger in person than what you think he is. He's pretty.
Yeah, I saw pictures at the Arnold, and he's pretty fucking big, man.
Yeah, he's pretty. He's lean too. My God, he can put down some food.
Yeah, it's amazing, huh? He could do well with a beta blocker.
Yeah, chill out a little bit.
Yeah, not to chill out, but it's just so he doesn't have to pound all the food. I'll have a podcast with him and Dr. D next weekend, so I'll pitch it to him. He was very chill on my podcast.
No, he's good. He's good. He's you can see why he burns calories. He's very high strung. So I'm chill, but Kurt's a great guy though. It was funny. I stumbled into him because he came to me for help with his nutrition. And then we started talking about PEDs, and I'm like, what? This guy? Like, I've never met anybody that knows as much about this stuff as this dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you got to be out there, man. You got to be talking to people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy he's doing, like Dean and Kurt both, they need their own YouTube channel and just make educational content. They would fucking kill it.
So I got him on for an interview. Like, I remember I wanted to talk to him about it, and I think that's kind of how it started. Yeah.
And then he quit his job, and now he's doing full-time coaching, and it's great to see, man. Yeah, we need more good guys in the fitness industry. I remember when I saw your YouTube channel and people were talking about, you got to check this out, anabolic bodybuilding. I'm like, okay, Paul seems like a cool dude. Let's get him on. Right, and now you're a staple. And not that I gave you a lift off. You would have been a staple anyway.
No, you definitely helped, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. It was. I was like, why is this guy reaching out to me? I thought you wanted something at first.
Yeah.
I'm always skeptical, man. I'm skeptical of people. Like, what is he up to?
What's this fucking low motherfucker? Yeah, I want to get you on the podcast and just hang out. That's half of it. Like I reached out to so many people, right? Like Dr. James, for example, he's in Dubai. You might have seen his content. So he's pretty a little bit more TikTok-y, right? Very fast editing, but it's overall the content is good. And I reached out and said, hey, let's do a fucking podcast. But he wasn't ready. He said, I'm not doing podcasts right now. I said, dude, what are you talking about? Let's do a collab. So maybe I'll run into him when I go to Dubai and yank his chain and see. Because he also seems one of these good guys that just having fun with it and educational content. And so I think we should all collab, man.
Yeah, get out there. I mean, there's so much bad information. It's good to get some good information. I'm the gym bro of everybody. I hang out with the smart people. I let them think they're smarter than I am.
No, but you got great content of your own. I mean, you've got a lot. How many videos you got? Like 800 or something? With the shorts
like
included?
1,000, something.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good stuff in there, right? That's very beneficial for people. So, no, man, we need that's your resume, basically, of everything you know and everything you have an opinion on. And we need more of that because how many guys are really consistent, you know?
Not many.
Yeah, not many. Like Derek kind of gave up. He was super consistent, but he's just barely posting any content anymore. And
yeah, I noticed he's posted some stuff now.
Yeah, that's recorded like months ago. That Paul Saladino podcast he recorded last year or early this year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just too busy. Too busy with his business. And I think he's also taking it easier because after all, you reach a certain amount of financial security that you can just relax. Like I started playing more video games and spending more time with my wife and my cats also because it's, after all, you just realize like, fuck man, I can't be spending my whole day, every day, 6.5 days a week on the YouTube channel around all the consultations. And so I was like, you know what? If my cats need me to want to play, I'm stopping my work. If my wife wants to do something on Wednesday, I'm stopping my work. And if that means 1 or 2 videos less per week, whatever, man. I got my investments. It's well, like we talked off camera on WhatsApp about our investments. I mean, that's infinitely better than what I make from YouTube and everything else that's combined. So I don't need to do this. But I enjoy doing it. So
I like doing it. I have fun doing it. I enjoy talking to people and interacting with. I mean, I complain about the jerks on there, but 98% of the people are great. I've really met some great people. I've made some new friendships, and people are honestly fantastic. To be truthful with you,
the ones that we usually meet, like when we were out Swiss, that was a great weekend, right? And I'm sure the Mr. Olympia week will be awesome too. I think Chase is flying in a little bit earlier to start up with the booth. I'll be there on Wednesday. And then we can just start organizing stuff. Yeah. And you're staying longer afterwards, right?
Yeah, I'm going to the Grand Canyon afterwards. So
you're doing the helicopter thing?
No, I'm going to travel over there and maybe do a little hiking. See.
Do the helicopter tour, dude. You will not be disappointed. Bring the wife.
I think she's scared of the helicopter.
It's okay. They'll serve you champagne as soon as you land in the Grand Canyon, so it takes the edge off. If you want to do one thing, that's the thing I can highly recommend.
All right, maybe.
Honestly, yeah.
I like just getting in my car and drive sometimes and explore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do in around, especially if you have a car.
I mean, the U.S. is huge, man. We're it's the other side of the country from me. I mean, it's like another world compared to the East Coast.
Yeah, you can imagine. Yeah, especially different climate also compared to Washington.
Yeah, very, very different, completely different. But I'm looking forward to it.
For sure. Hey, let me go to the bathroom real quick. So let's just talk a little bit more about the Olympia, and then because I want to know who else is coming from the anabolic bodybuilding live stream. So I think everybody's coming, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, my wife, she's going to come with me. She's going to witness. Mm-hmm. She knows nothing about bodybuilding, so she'll witness. She's gonna proof review all of us. She's like, this Steve guy I'm not really sure about. You should hang out with Steve. He's kind of weird. She heard you on. There was some podcast she was listening to where they interviewed you. I forget what it was, and she's like, "Isn't this the guy?"
I don't know. I've done so many. Maybe Mark Bell.
No, it was something non-bodybuilding. They were talking about, I don't remember, PEDs or something. I don't remember what it was. I'll have to ask her.
I've done so many, man. I've done so many. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to meet your wife. I've never seen a picture, or I mean, you keep it on the wraps. So
yeah,
I'd like
keep it private, but
smart. My wife will probably not come.
I think they were talking about DNP, if I remember.
DNP.
I don't recall. I'll have to ask her. She listens to podcasts all the time.
All right. Well, hopefully I don't give her the wrong impression by the time we meet.
No, she'll be there. My let's see, Kurt, I think, is coming. He already bought his tickets. My buddy Colin, he will be there.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Chase will be there. I think Amy's coming.
Cool.
Not sure who else will be there.
Is Todd coming?
I don't know. I haven't really talked to him lately.
Colton, Nicholas, and all the guys here from Thailand, they haven't bought their tickets yet. I think Nicholas wants to go back to Australia, get some things sorted, and Colton's thinking about moving to Canada or something. So I'm not really sure. I think it's just going to be a very similar setup as Swiss.
Well, there are no tickets available for the finals now. I missed out, so I'm just doing prejudging.
Oh, really? Oh, man. Yeah. Well, you can watch did you get regular tickets for prejudging?
Yeah, that's all it was left.
Yeah, you won't be able to see anything. That's what I did last year. I sat all the way in the back, and I didn't realize how big the auditorium was. And I was like squinting. So after a while, I was like, fuck it. I just watched Chase Arns' live stream because he was at home too. So I listened to Chase's play-by-play while watching the live stream that I just bought online, and then watching the show from the back. I was like, fuck, I might as well sit home. Then I got VIP tickets with Chase last year. I still couldn't see anything. Like Heidi Chupar was this big because we're in like row 16. So I got some gold tickets this time. So let's see. That's the difference.
Well, I had great tickets to the Arnold. We were right up front there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good. Yeah, the Arnold was fantastic. But the only thing that were left were scalped tickets, and they were even in the mezzanine level. They were like $2,000. It was crazy.
Fuck that. Come on.
I'm gonna put that on a blackjack table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you take like $200 off. You get the live stream, and you put the rest on blackjack, and then have a good time. Have you been to Vegas to that venue, that area, and that new area?
No,
where
that's
they're doing...
new. I haven't been out to Vegas in a bit, but I used to go out there a lot when I was younger. It's probably been 10 years since I've been to Vegas, but that's all new.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so you have a new experience with the wife. It should be fun, man. Should be fun.
I love Vegas.
My wife probably won't come because we're going to start implantation of the IVF stuff in August. So if she's like within the first trimester, then it's probably better not to travel.
Yeah, it'd be better to stay at home.
Yeah, so I'll come solo. But if the doctor gives us approval and she's like 3 months into it, then she'll come because she wanted to go to Peppermill, some restaurant.
Well, they're good restaurants in Vegas.
Yeah, it's like Cheesecake Factory, but a little bit greasier. So she's like, I got to go to Peppermill. This is what she loves about traveling. So it's that's close to Resorts World. So you have Resorts World here, and if you have the strip road, the extension of the strip road here, and then the convention center there, then it's like right below Resorts World, but on the other side, it's a unique restaurant. It's called the Peppermill. There's always a queue, so you got to make a reservation. Very popular, but it's one of those menus where everything is super calorie dense, but it's nice.
Well, that's an all-American food.
Yeah, it's a diner. It's a fancy diner. I only ate at diners last time. That's why this time when I go to the US, I'm going to get a room. Aaron is also coming. You're going to have a podcast with Aaron in a couple of days, right?
Yeah. Next week we're going to do something.
Yeah, so he's coming at the same flight I am, and then we'll just rent like an Airbnb with a kitchen and stuff. And then we'll eat some clean food because he'll be like 4 to 5 weeks out for the pro qualifier here in Thailand.
He looks massive.
Clean. He is. I saw him today. He's fucking huge. He's like 257 or 280, 85 or something. 285, sorry, 285.
How tall is he?
6'1".
6'1". Okay, so he's my height. Yeah, that's massive.
Yeah, he's massive. And he's just getting started because he just did a prep. So he's like 3 weeks into the off season. So he'll probably be like, well, he'll probably get up to 300 pounds and start cutting it down.
I mean, he looks like a pro in his pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting there. He's finally coming to his own now after 5 years of hardcore bodybuilding. I helped him with his first couple of cycles and first couple of shows. And then after I stopped contest prep, he moved to another coach. So now he's almost in that pro level physique now.
Yeah, and it takes that time, probably, I would say a minimum of 5 years of pushing things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To get that kind of size. Right,
and getting the finances in order to afford all the GH and stuff, and take some time also because it's not cheap. And so he's really coming into his own. So hopefully this year I'll turn pro, but it'll be 4 weeks out, 5 weeks out when we get to the Olympia, and then he'll have a show in November, and otherwise some sort of backup show afterwards. So he should look pretty freaky when he's in shape. Then he looks really. I mean, his forearms are like.
Yeah, he looks
so even when he just wears his shirt, it's insane.
There's definitely a difference with I hate to admit it, with the pharma GH. We've done all the testing and stuff on the generics, and they show like they're fine. But I have been running Serostem on my prep, and it is not the same.
No, it's not the same. I know. I don't know if it's the impurities or the binders or I don't know. It's just you feel better about yourself because you're running branded stuff, but it's way more potent.
I mean, it could be a placebo. I don't know, but 9 units of the Serostem is plenty for me.
Yeah. I just started 10 IUs of some Underground Lab that's available here, but the serum analysis came back at 100%, what you expect. So I just went from 3.3 IUs to 10 IUs, and it's like daily changes. And it's only been a week. So I'm going to run that for another, 3 weeks. Give or take 2.5 weeks. And then see what happens if I want to continue it. Because, again, I'll have to go to Dubai and Holland. But yeah, even though I'm running only 350 milligrams of steroids, I will try the 10 IU thing, see what happens. But it's insane in the gym, just fucking blown up.
10 units seems to be the magic number. That's what I've kind of come to the conclusion to. That's where I really see. I was piddle-paddling around with, 4 and 5 units and stuff, and it just didn't do a whole lot. But when you get up around 10, that's when the magic starts to happen.
Yeah, and I got a sweet deal on this one. We're talking about single dollar amounts per unit. So I'm like, well, why the fuck not? If it's only 10, 15 bucks a day.
Well, I'm spending enough for a second mortgage on the house. So that's the GH bill.
Fuck.
It's not cheap.
I know. Chase told me how much he was spending. I was like, oh man, got lucky, dude. Got fucking lucky with his source. He's like, yeah, and it's only for me. I don't have any more for anybody else.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap. No, the cycling, I'm spending about $1,000 to $1,200 a month on my cycle. But my cycle is complicated, and I have NAD+, which is also expensive. So
I'm spending more than that on just growth hormone.
Jesus. Yeah. Well, it's either this or expensive cars.
Yeah, I don't, I have a Tesla, but whatever.
I remember when you posted that video and I saw your fucking Tesla card. I remember when I emailed you in panic. I saw like your address. I'm like, fuck, man, take this off YouTube.
Yeah, you saved me, man. I could have had some stalker show up at my house.
Yeah, you never know. You never know, dude.
I went back through and blurred it all out.
Good, yeah.
I need to make more of those day in a life videos. People love those, man. They were getting better views than pretty much anything else I put up.
People want to see what bodybuilders eat. It's that simple.
Food were just me going to the grocery store. I don't know why they like seeing me going to the grocery store, but hey.
You want to see the reaction of the other people. Go there in a tank top and then get the reactions.
That's what I did. There was 8, people looking at me, and then there was like one person in the comment section, you're seeking attention. I'm like, no shit. I'm a bodybuilder, man.
Yeah. You think I took all these steroids not to get attention?
Yeah, I'm I wear a tank top in public to get attention.
You want to tell me that story about when you took your son to a concert or you went to a school? This made me laugh so hard. Let's close off with that.
My son is 13, so he had his 7th grade band concert. And all the kids were kind of gathering around and looking and pointing at me and talking to my son. And I was just like, what the hell's going on over here? And I come over, and the one kid's like, hey, aren't you that steroid guy from YouTube? Isn't your dad the steroid guy from YouTube? 13-year-olds, yeah. Proud dad moment.
So did you give them the pep talk of, I started this when I was over 40.
If only that were true.
Yeah, my levels were declining.
TRTO, folks.
Yeah, that will be my biggest nightmare, dude. That my YouTube channel is still around in 20 years, and that my kids go to school and they're like 15 or 18 or something like that, and they're like, I know your guy. I know your dad. He talks about steroids online. I don't think it would be good for my kids, dude.
No, it was really, really embarrassing, awkward moment because like all the other parents were standing around and they're kind of looking at me.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I mean everybody's gathered around and my son's embarrassed.
Did you take him for ice cream at least afterwards to kind of make him feel better?
Took him out to eat.
Yeah. That's funny, man.
Yeah, it was funny. I've been trying to get him to come to the gym with me, but I took him one time. He got so sore, he didn't want to. He's like, Dad, I think I want to start working out. And so I took him in, and we went through a workout. And I was like, you're going to be sore, man. You need to like kind of pace yourself a little bit. And he's like, nah, I'm fine. And then I saw him walking around for a couple of days like this, and he hasn't been back to the gym since.
Oh, man, poor guy. You got to bring him again. I mean, the soreness gets less the more often you go, you know?
Yeah. I got to drag him out, but he's at the age where it's a good time to get started. Yeah,
I think I started when I was like just turned 15. That was the youngest you could sign up.
Yeah, I think 16. I was driving. Yeah, so 16 was when I started. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
No, me neither. But we had like some class with some hot chick that was giving us instructions for how to use the machines. And then she would always spot us for bench press. So you look up, you see giant boobs. So we would always do bench press every time. So give us a spot. Show us how it's done. That's the closest you would get to a hot chick when you're 15 years old. I think she was 18 or something, that instructor. So much fun. Staring at boobs while doing bench press. That's how I got started.
That's
testosterone boosting for sure.
That's funny, man. The hot girls at the gym. That's when I thought all the pro bodybuilders were natural too. I read articles, Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, and I was following everything to a T, and I was overtrained and not growing.
Yeah,
like, what's going on here? And
I knew pretty early on because I had classmates when I was like 15 and I was a young student, right? So all these guys were like 16, 17 years old. And there were 16-year-old kids sneaking in their dad's Dianabol jar and just taking Dianabol, like just taking a handful and bench pressing 100 kilos and stuff. So that's how I got introduced to steroids from my classmates, for fuck's sake. So I knew who was saucing. Because all these guys, and at one point the Dianabol ran out and they fucking shrank to nothing and they were depressed and, couldn't perform at school sports anymore. It's pretty funny to see.
I remember there was one like real bodybuilder at my gym. His name was Carl. And I think I was like 18 or 19. And I like kept asking him about stuff. Like I was aware of steroids. I was like, I'll never do that. And then one day he just looked at me. He's like, all right, kid. He's like, he gave me a bag. I'm pretty sure it was D-ball. It might have been Anadrol. I think it was D-ball. And he's like, take one of these a day for a month. And I took them. And I remember I couldn't bust past. I could not bench 225. That was like my goal, was to get up to 225. And it was like 2 weeks. I went from benching like 185 up to repping out 225.
Yeah.
And that's when
puffy, covered in acne.
Oh yeah, Gyno grew. That's when I got bit by the vampire, and I've been a vampire ever since, off and on.
Yeah, there you go. Dianabol's the gateway drug, man.
So when people see me shitting all over D-ball, I've done plenty of D-ball in the past.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I haven't touched that in ages.
Yeah, everybody gets to a certain point where they just give it up.
Yeah,
it seems like
it's not worth the bloat. Even with Anadrol, it's less, and the bloat is in your muscle, not in your skin or in your face.
Yeah, I'd much rather take Anadrol than D-ball.
Yeah, I like Superdrol more, but it's like 2 weeks, and then you feel toxic.
Yeah, the liver enzymes get nasty on Superdrol.
All the case reports on Superdrol is all about liver failure. I did a literature review on it, and it's all liver failure.
I did it
14 case reports.
What was it, 2 or 3 weeks one time? I don't remember. And I started not feeling well, and I went and got my ALT and AST, or my blood work done. My ALT and AST were both around like 500.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, this is not good.
And the weird thing is, gamma GT is still in range, right?
Yeah.
It's like 15, 17 maybe.
Yeah.
It's the liver. I think all those liver enzymes come from skeletal muscle, because one serving of Superdrol, 20 milligrams, you go to the gym and you hit all your PRs, like one. It's insanely powerful.
So maybe it's falsely elevated. I don't know. I've only had one time where my GGT was through the roof. And that was at the end of a contest prep one time.
Yeah, probably glutathione deficient.
Yeah, probably. That was that one where I was just emaciated at the end. My GGT was
that one. Yeah.
My GGT was like 300 after that show.
Ooh, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was real bad. I felt like I was dying.
Yeah, I can imagine. What were you running for that show? Thyroid medication?
Yeah, I was running 100 micrograms of T3.
Yeah, there you go.
I think
that dissolves everything.
Because I wasn't really I was only on, I think 50 milligrams of Winstrol. I wasn't doing anything crazy with the orals. Mm-hmm. So it had to have been just stress and the T3.
How much cardio were you doing?
Like an hour and a half a day.
Okay, that's not too bad.
It's not like now, 20 minutes. I barely do any, man.
That's insane, dude. I can't imagine eating that much food and getting lean.
I just do a step count. I try to get between 8,000 and 10,000 steps a day, and then if I do that, that's all I do. I just take walks. I don't do any real cardio. Just do walks.
Yeah, that seems to be the best way to do it. I sit at my desk all day working. Should get out more.
Yeah, if I do any intense cardio, like the stepper or anything like that, it just melts all the muscle off of me.
Yeah, I do like 20 to 30 minutes elliptical in the morning.
Yeah, I like the elliptical. I'll throw the elliptical in here and there.
And then I do steps at the gym, so maybe 3,000 steps, sometimes 5,000, depending on the workout. But that's it. The rest of the time, I'm just sitting here. I usually need to do quite a lot of cardio. I eat like 2,800 calories, and I grow. It's insane. My nutrient partitioning is very good, but getting lean is hard.
Maybe my gut issues. Maybe my nutrient. Maybe my body's just not.
Yeah, maybe you're not absorbing anything.
I don't know. Because like my low day is 3,200 calories. My medium day right now is around 3,600. My high day is probably 7,000, 8,000. I don't know.
Jesus.
That's what I'm dieting on. That's more than most people do in an off season.
True. Yeah, well, we'll have to sit down at the Mr. Olympia, discuss your gut issues, because I think there's ways around it, but I probably need an hour or two over dinner to kind of discuss
it's been better.
What's going on.
The intermittent fasting, I think, helped me a lot, and I really am being strict with the low FODMAP, staying away from sugar alcohols. I was using way too many artificial sweeteners. I've been staying away from the artificial sweeteners, and my stomach's been a lot better on this prep. And, things like hot sauce and shit like that I used to dump all over everything. Basically, super bland diet. Things have been better.
Yeah, salt and pepper. That's the way to go. Yeah, and you might need to do like some sort of gut microbiome reset with LL37 and what is it called? Oregano oil to kill all the candida, if you have it, candida, overgrowth.
Well, I think I told you about this before, but I had really bad run with Lyme disease, and I was on and off antibiotics for 3 years. I would do these 90-day runs of IV antibiotics, and it just completely destroyed my gut.
Yeah.
I was fine before that.
Look at the stem cells. I know a few places. That seems to be very, very good against Lyme disease, even if it's been years. It's kind of rejuvenates everything.
Yeah, maybe I need to check that out.
Sell
All right,
some
man,
of the Tesla stock and then buy some Tesla.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on the Tesla stuff. I need to eat,
you got to
Steve.
go. Yeah, where can people find you? For the people who are not up to speed with anabolic bodybuilding, where can they find you?
Anabolic Bodybuilding on YouTube, and I'm at Paul K. Barnett on Instagram. You'll find me.
Awesome. I'll link everything down below. This was great. Good to catch up, man. I'll talk to you again soon. Hopefully I can join one of those live streams again, but my wife is always pressing me to stay another hour before my live stream starts.
You have an open invitation anytime. It's
yes, sir.
There.
I'll let you know as soon as possible. It was good to talk. I'll catch you soon, yeah? Take care, buddy.
Take care.